Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hey, hi, Matteo. He's James. We are here to talk. Well, we just stepped in because our CEO, Kian, couldn't make it. He got stuck in his flight connection. So he made his best to come. I hope it's arriving, so I hope it makes it for some part of the talk at least. Let's hope so.
We'll try to make sense.
So we are here to talk about how to be part of the node movement, and we are here to talk about a story, part of our story, and the fact that in how to move from being an art, how open source is art, and how to make it sustainable, and how we are all artists. Let me go one step back and talk about nearForm for a second. We are from Europe. Well, James is from Fresno, but nearForm was born in Ireland in 2011. And we are one of the biggest Node.js JavaScript companies around the world. We grow from I joined when we were 14, and now we are more than 120. So we have massive growth plan. And so we have started making huge investments in open source since the very beginning. And in fact, we have made huge contribution to Node.js in the recent time.
Yeah, the contributions to Node.js is really why I came to the company. Just in 2017, the nearFormers involved with core have been responsible for 8% of the commits. There's maybe about 3 or 4 of us responsible for those. And have reviewed 66% of all the pull requests that come through. It's a massive amount of volume just going in there and reviewing that code. Part of that's just contributing back to the project is a key part of nearForm's vision and just supporting the community and just being there to make sure it stays healthy.
So, Node.js is born from the community. It's why we are all here and why we are contributing, why we are working on modules, why we are building applications, from the small shops in a remote place of the world that are just using our technology to make a living, to the big corporations that are using them. And we want to support all of it. Our message is how to make open source viable. So how can we move from all this art that is being created and designed in the early days to companies, and how to make open source sustainable? So James, what's special about Node?
So the thing that makes Node special, and it's always been there, is the fact that it comes from the community. It comes from the users. It comes from the individual contributors. It's not owned by any single corporate entity. There's no corporate steward anymore, right? And it evolved to the point where now we have the foundation. It's out there. The community owns it. The community drives it forward. And it's the only platform of its kind where that is completely true. The people that contribute to Node and just open source in general are artists, right? It's an art platform that we're all contributing to, right? And that is probably the one thing that makes Node truly special. So this slide, I mean, it's kind of silly, but it just points to the fact that it is an art project, right? Yes, it's for business. Yes, businesses are out there using it to make money. But all of us, as we are contributing, we are expressing ourselves in creative ways through this, and we are doing so collaboratively.
Node.js, one key part of Node is not just Node. It's more than 500,000 modules that are on NPM that compose our ecosystem. And we can draw a parallel from what had happened in the Node community back in the early days to what happened in the Impressionist movement back in France. All the Impressionists were hanging out at a cafe. And this is a picture from NodeConf EU 2013. And I remember when Substack put his napkin on his head, and everybody followed through. There is a major difference, however. Back in the days, so one of the major questions is who is the patron of all this art? And in fact, there is a biggest question about art versus industrial design. So how can we make all this art that is being created and was created sustainable? How can we move from, how can we create something beautiful and still making it possible to sustain it over time? One of the biggest challenge has always been for art on how to commercialize it, how to make sure that how can we make sure that all the artists are to some extent well fed and they don't be posthumously recognized? Okay? How can we make sure that all of this continue to exist?
This is actually one of the key reasons why I came to nearForm. I've been with nearForm for probably since, I think, March. There is a difference between commercializing art in a way that supports the artist versus doing it in a way that exploits the artist. Right? There's plenty of examples out there where companies are using open source, exploiting what is there without giving back to it, without supporting it in a sustainable way. nearForm takes the approach of, they want to be a patron to the artist. They want to support the artist as they are contributing back to the community. It's not coming in trying to own the platform. It's not coming in and trying to be the only company or the premier company. It's what support can we give to the artists that are contributing to this platform, not just to Node Core, but to the ecosystem and to all of the developers out there that are making use of the code. And I think that is a critical part of nearForm's story and part of what makes them such an important player in the ecosystem.
So another very, very important player that doubled down on open source recently, it's Microsoft. And it has been great to see what they have been doing. And by the way, we are huge Visual Studio Code fans around. Probably a lot of you are, I don't know. Right. In fact, I want to say a thing. Yesterday, we announced a new alliance with Microsoft Azure and ourselves and nearForm to help companies migrate to Node. So how to bring the system to the Azure cloud and how to support them in the best possible way in order to grow this community and make Node better.
To carry the analogy, Azure makes a fantastic gallery to hang your art. Right? It's just a fantastic platform. Microsoft has made some amazing strides in investing in supporting open source. Within the past few years, it's been an amazing turnaround for them, and I think they deserve a lot of credit for what they've done. So, as a call to action, we're doing stuff. We have, there's contributions to core. There's support for the industry. There's support for the ecosystem, the modules out there. It's not something that we just want to do by ourselves, right? We want to send out just a call to action to come help. nearForm is there. If you want to reach out, we'll gladly, sit down and talk with you and do something. But if there's other ways that we can support the ecosystem, if you have ideas, come talk to us. We're going to be at the booth, for the past couple of days. And there's also the Collaborator Summit coming up the day after the conference. If you're interested.
The Code and Learn.
Yeah, and the Code and Learn. So we'd love to see you out there and talk about actual contributions to open source.
There is one more thing to say. We have started to support Chew. I don't know how many of you know Chew. It's a full stack JavaScript framework. It's fantastic. We love it. And we are sponsoring for a while Yosh to improve Chew and make it viable for the enterprise.
If you don't know Yosh, look him up. He's just an absolute fantastic engineer. He's done a tremendous amount of amazing work on this. So just reach out, send him a message or whatever. Just support the effort that he's doing. It's an amazing piece of work.
I would just to close saying that to come to talk at our booth again. We are also hosting a happy hour at the end of the day. You should come and see what that is. It's going to be nice. We are a huge fan of API, by the way. I don't know if you know API, but you should. So check it out. And that's it. That's it. And thank you all.
Thank you.